President-elect Trump's pick of Scott Pruitt to head the EPA.
I'm Scott Pruitt.
Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt has been nominated by Donald Trump to serve as the head of the Environmental Protection Agency.
A leading critic of the EPA.
If confirmed, Pruitt will be put in charge of an agency he spent most of his legal career obstructing.
This agency called the EPA. What is their role? What is their objective?
The EPA was established in 1972 by President Nixon.
Maintaining and improving environmental quality.
Protect against water pollution, air pollution,
Pesticide hazard.
contamination of the environment.
So what makes Scott Pruitt an ideal candidate to protect the environment? According to the Natural Resources Defense Council, there's literally nothing in his record showing any indication of protecting the environment in any way that matters.
Greetings from the Oklahoma Attorney General's office.
Shortly after becoming Attorney General in 2011, Pruitt eliminated his office's Environmental Protection Unit, which investigated issues like water contamination and illegal dumping. In its place, he established a unit that worked to overturn national safeguards to reduce dangerous air and water pollutants.
He has fought regulations that he would be required by law to enforce.
Attorney General Pruitt has great qualifications.
Supporters of Pruitt highlight his hostility toward the EPA as his primary qualification for the job, and very rarely mention that many of his actions reveal a clear pattern of unethical behavior. A New York Times investigation revealed that Pruitt had taken a letter written by lobbyists working on behalf of Devon Energy, copied it onto state government stationery, and sent it to Washington under his own signature.
Signed it and sent it off to the federal agency. He was basically working in alliance with these companies.
They thanked him for his outstanding work. 2 days before writing the letter, Devon Energy donated $125,000 to RAGA, the Republican Attorneys General Association, which he was an executive of. In 2013, employees at Oklahoma Gas and Electric held a fundraiser for Pruitt. 6 days later, Pruitt filed a lawsuit against the EPA in an effort to block a rule that the company opposed. In 2014, Pruitt joined an organization chaired by Harold Hamm, the CEO of oil and gas company Continental Resources.
Energy tycoon Harold Hamm led Pruitt's re-election committee.
Together, they sued the U.S. Department of Interior. 2 weeks later, Continental Resources donated $25,000 to RAGA. In 2016, ExxonMobil made a donation of $50,000 to RAGA, and a month later, Pruitt wrote an op-ed defending Exxon, which was under investigation for deliberately misleading its investors and the public about the dangers of climate change. Pruitt has described this type of behavior as representative government, but it's clear he's only representing the interests of energy companies.
The oil and gas industry is applauding the selection of Scott Pruitt.
13 of the 14 lawsuits Pruitt filed against the EPA were co-filed with companies that gave financial contributions to his campaign or affiliated campaign committees.
He is suing the EPA.
Pruitt sued over regulations designed to reduce ozone, better known as smog. Despite the fact that the American Lung Association has described ozone as one of the most dangerous pollutants in the United States, and in a recent report, gave all Oklahoma counties surveyed an F for ozone problems. In another case, Pruitt sued to block a rule restricting the amount of mercury that could be dumped into the air by coal power plants, despite overwhelming evidence that mercury is a dangerous neurotoxin, particularly for children. Pruitt sued the agency twice over these restrictions. Pruitt has even sued the EPA over safeguards for more than half of the nation's waterways, including streams that feed into drinking water supplies of 117 million Americans.
My state's prerogative to craft regulations that make sense for Oklahoma.
He currently has several pending lawsuits against the EPA that haven't even been heard in court yet, attacking regulations to reduce methane pollution from the oil and gas industry and the agency's Clean Power Plan, intended to reduce carbon pollution and slow the impacts of climate change.
We don't want the Environmental Protection Agency to be run by someone owned and controlled by the oil and gas industry.
This is sort of like putting an arsonist in charge of fighting fires.
He is going to try to bring the EPA to its knees.
Scared to death what'll happen if Pruitt's director of the EPA. Where are we in history when that happens?